Hey, good morning, YouTube friends and family. It is July 26th, and it's not too early in the morning, but still early, nice and quiet out here for a Sunday morning. I didn't do a video last week because the heat was bad and the smoke was bad, and I was having trouble being outside. So I really didn't do much in the garden, and I didn't come out for a video. I was feeling a little but I wanted to do some stuff for you guys today and just get some stuff recorded, so I have it for myself as well. So we're going to start out front because I'm about midway through a project out here where I am swapping out some of the bushes that I have in front of the porch here and putting in new ones, and also putting in the junipers on the corners here. So I wanted to show you guys those plants. Okay, so here on the porch we have the new bushes that are going to go in front here, and these are the dwarf globe blue spruce. These get I think like the upper can like 5 feet tall, 5 feet wide. I don't anticipate them getting that big just because they're going to be in a part shade area, right? They're just going to get the morning sun and like noontime sun, and then once the sun moves over the house, they won't get any more sun for the rest of the day. So these are so cute. They make me want to, I don't know, like learn how to bonsai or something. They're so adorable. But these are what's going in the front of the porch over here. And then I have these small junipers here. And these are blue arrow. So these get just 2 feet wide and about 10 to 15 feet tall. And I also have these skyrocket junipers that I got at Walmart that are much bigger at this point. But these skyrocket junipers that also only get maximum like 2 feet wide, but they get closer to 15 to 20 feet tall. So what is going to be is like a corner here. Grab one of these. So on the corner of the porch, there will be the triangle of junipers. Of tall but thin junipers here. So that kind of gives you an idea. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other corner. So between the junipers and then the, let me get one of these little blue globes so you can see it in place, even though they're so little right now. But here's where I took out one of the, oh gosh, it'll come to me, but basically I'll have the 3 blue globes across the front of the porch here. And I don't think that they will get 5 feet tall and wide, but even if they do, I just want them to come over the top of the porch just a little bit so I can prune those to keep those where I want them to be. They do handle pruning okay. So you'll have the 3 tall junipers the 3 blue globes that will give like an anchor to the very back of this garden, and then the 3 tall junipers on this corner of the house as well. So that's the plan. That's what I've been in the middle of. I also planted some new hydrangeas in the back that are taking the place of those candelabra hydrangeas in front of the porch back there, but we'll look at that when I get back there. But this little garden is looking okay. The hostas are not as big as I wanted them to be, but we all know that the hostas, a lot of them took a hit from the bunnies this year. So another thing too is I'll be moving some of this stuff that is up front here, right up against the porch, like the brunnera. This little corner, I'll probably leave this hosta. This is Miss America, but I'll take this brunnera out. That's Queen of Hearts. And then I also have like a Virginia or something like I'll put the name on the on the screen for you guys. In here that's not getting enough sun. So I'm gonna move that out. This heuchera here, that'll come out, all of this stuff. And I'm replacing that with these ostrich plume astilbes that I put along the border here. So everything is really overgrown right now, the weeds. But I got these bare root. These are like ostrich plume. I forget what the Straußenfeder or something like that, or what they're called too. I have 3 of these. They've taken well. I am going to dig those up and move them so they'll be kind of in between the blue globes, filling in the spaces where I have smaller plants right now. Take the smaller plants out, bring them in here, and replace them with the ostrich plumes. Those get pretty big. And then I'm also going to put the sage hosta along this border here instead, along the walkway, instead of the ostrich plume. So yeah, but there's some really pretty stuff out here. The serendipity alliums are starting to put their color on. They're going to be beautiful. Most of the daylilies are starting to put on their show. These Cheyenne Spirit coneflowers that I just put these in this year, they're doing okay. We have had some heat. They definitely their leaves are definitely like taking, you know, they're getting sad when the heat comes on, but I just come out and give them a little supplemental water. The phlox are all in bloom. These pink ones are just starting to go over a little bit, so I'll probably come in here and just trim these back, and then we can get a second bloom off of those. The white ones are just starting to open, but tons of blooms on this one. And this is really nice because I haven't had great luck with getting the white ones, because these plants do seem to be a favorite of the deer. And it would be one thing if they just came in and nipped them once, because that's fine. And for phlox, they can get pinched. But they just, in the past years, they just eat that. So I haven't had a really great display off of it like it does appear we're going to have this year. So I'm excited about that. Excited to see this coming on. I do have to come in here and do some deadheading on some of these plants, like this Violet Queen Salvia that I just transplanted in here this year. This can get trimmed back and it'll bloom again. Things like that. But the lamb's ear looks really great. That stuff just went in this year. That was bare root that went in this year. I'm also going to clean out, I don't know, the yarrow. The yarrow is lovely when it first comes into bloom, but then it you know, it's messy and it all falls down. And I'm not really super happy with it up here right now. Just in general, this garden is kind of messy. It has some good bones, but it's all over the place. So I'm trying to get that just a little bit more of a shape. But these are the Going Bananas daylilies, and I've had these since I moved in. So I have 3 of those plants. I could probably separate some of those out next year. This is a much darker phlox that when I got this at a yard sale, and she told me they were white and then they bloomed and they were like this magenta color, but they're beautiful. They're really, really pretty. So no concerns there. And here I took out the Nepeta because this is the corner where there's going to be junipers in here. So this is kind of a big hole right now, but I just pulled this out yesterday. I was thinking about putting the Nepeta back into this spot after I get the junipers in, but I don't think I'm going to. I want to have sort of lower stuff with the juniper. This daylily is really pretty. I don't know all of the daylily names. I'm sorry, guys. I see one and I buy it kind of thing with the daylilies. But here's this one. This one is really pretty too. Love that when it has that like chartreuse in the throat. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. There's some, this is a bare root that I also got this year. Echinacea. I forget what the name of it is, but it's very pretty. It's like tipped out, and there's like lacinated petals, and they're like green, and you can see the back of the petal is green. They're really gorgeous. So I have a couple of those in here, hoping that those take really well. This little hydrangea looks great. There's phlox over here. The double tiger lilies are starting to open. Oh. Now here's a guy. This is the scarlet lily beetle, and I will show you the damage that these things do here in just a second, but I will be coming out and spraying for them because they're making a little comeback, and they're doing some pretty serious damage to my lilies. Hydrangeas here are doing really well. Most of the flowers have gone over, so these are, you know, like florets, and then they're sterile, and then these are the non-sterile flowers in here, all these little ones. And you can see this is like right before the flowers open. They have this deep sort of rosy color to them, and then this is where they're open. It's really gorgeous. And then once they're done, you're kind of left with just the creamy white. And the florets do get a little bit of a rosy tint to them as they age. So here's one that's... so you do get that sort of pinky aging like you would with a panicle hydrangea or something like that. But just not like huge amounts of it, if that makes sense. Oh, this whole border looks really beautiful right now with the hydrangeas fully bloomed out. But I haven't done too much over here in a while. So let me find the lilies that have taken the hit so I can show you guys. Okay, so you can see on these leaves, all these holes on these lilies. This is the scarlet lily beetle, and they also will attack the flower. So you can see all that. Look at them. Oh, aren't they just having a party on these lilies? Now these blossoms will maybe open, maybe not. And if they do, they will have holes all over them and be kind of deformed and stuff like that. So, and you can see all the damage that they've done to the plant. So I have to come out here and spray to keep them from spreading onto all the other lilies. At this point, these are going to be really pretty. I don't want them to get destroyed. They can pretty much decimate a plant real quick. So I'm just gonna be really strict with them this year. So these are the hydrangeas that I took out. I did have candelabra hydrangeas back more. You can see where this is where they got dug out. They're smaller ones. They only get like 3 feet or so tall and wide. And they just weren't doing what I needed them to do back here for creating a space. So these are limelights. So limelights, in the right conditions, in perfect conditions, can get like 8 to 10 feet tall and wide. Each side of my porch on either side of the stairs is maybe 4 feet. So the great thing about, and again, these won't probably reach like 8 to 10 feet. I would think maybe they might get closer to 6 tall and wide, because these don't get sun until the sun comes over the house, like really noontime and past. So they're not getting full sun. So that will kind of keep them from getting too huge as well. But the nice thing about panicle hydrangeas, which is what limelight is that you can prune them. So I can have some control over how big they get. The containers are looking great. The white petunias this year, these are the wave petunias. I started these from seed. The white ones are really the showstopper this year. They are putting it on. So yeah, so the big growth really is happening in the kitchen garden right now. So tons of these volunteer sunflowers, looking gorgeous and tall and just making a beautiful upper canopy here. All of the vegetables and everything that I have planted have been starting to put on fruit. I actually just came through last night and cut all the cauliflower and the zucchinis. I'm going for it. Oop. Let's see, some I have to pick down there. I'm trying to pick them small so I don't have any gigantic zucchini boats to deal with. Trying to stay on top of that. And then this is look at the size of this plant. This is the crookneck yellow squash. This is a 4x4 bed. This plant just takes up the entire bed. I did come out, and it was great to have the cauliflower in here with this plant because it gave them enough shade, even though we've had some pretty hot days. So I got some decent heads of cauliflower out of this bed. But there's lots going on in here. Just try to just take you around this plant. This is just one plant. It's very Jurassic Parky in here. But lots of baby squash in there too. So putting on the summer squash, which I really like, the yellow crookneck. So even though it's a beast of a plant, I grow it. It makes me happy. The cucumbers are starting to come on. These are salt and pepper. A few in here, which is great. I'll be starting refrigerator pickles today. The tomatoes are in full. I mean, most of the tomatoes are between like 4 to 5 feet tall at this point. And just lush, 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 lush. Lots of fruit coming on. They look fantastic. Let's see if we can get this sunflowers from this. These ones are very pretty. All these tall sunflowers in here are volunteers from last year. Oh, there's the bunny. Oh, ooh. I've got a little video of him. I think probably I'll put it at the beginning of this, so you've already seen it. But yeah, these are all from sunflowers that I grew last year. And I didn't put any new ones in because I saw how many I had coming. But look at the stalk on it. This is absolutely the tallest one. I would say, so I have 2 of these beds stacked on top of each other. I think that makes them about 18 inches. And then I'm going to say that this sunflower is easily 10 feet tall from there. Look at the stalk. Look at how big that is. I can just get it's as big as my wrist around. Bigger even, I think. It's wild. This is one heck of a plant. And just letting it go for it. I do trim up the sunflowers and take off the bottom leaves and stuff like that because they die off anyways, but also because they're like shading the dahlias. So the dahlias are doing really, really well. Everything also looking very lush, very happy with life. Buds are starting to come on. August should be a really beautiful month for these plants. This one is Voodoo. I think it's going to be my very first. You can see color on it. Very excited for that. But everything has buds on it pretty much, except for some of the plants that I got later, like the Hapet, Old Charm, does not have buds on it yet. For anything that, because I might have some that just don't bloom. And for anything that doesn't bloom, it's okay because I also get tuber production. So next year, they'll be better. And some stuff I got in late. That's just the way it is. Which one is this? Which one are you? Oh, Jowie Nikki. Okay, yeah. That's got buds coming. Yeah, pretty much everything. Except for some of the smaller ones, like I said. And then here's one of these sunflowers up close. Just gorgeous. Oh, they're so pretty. They do. And the birds love them, and the bees love them, and everything is just so happy to have these sunflowers here. Okay, so tomatoes. I'm trying to prep for tomatoes. So these are the first ones to ripen this year, and I think since I started growing these, have always been the first ones to ripen. They are honey drop. So they're kind of like a sun gold, but they get different colors, oranges, and like different shades of orange and rosy blush, and even to red. I did come in and do a big pruning on these, so you can see it better over here, where I took the leaves up about 1.5 feet off the bottoms. So I'm growing these really close together. And so, we're a very humid environment. Like it was 100% humidity this morning with, I think, a 65 or 68 dew point. Even though it was only 62 degrees, that's wet, right? Like everything is wet. You can see everything is still wet. We didn't have rain. We just had humidity. So that's kind of nice because it is going to be, about 90 today. But it also means that you're going to get different things, mildew or fungus or spot of some kind. So I have to come in and just stay on top of that so that nothing gets completely out of hand. I just take the leaves off because lots of fruit down there. Tons of fruit. Also, that's another reason why I come in and prune, is so that the fruit can get sunlight on it. But yeah, I have to stay on top of that so that the fungus or whatever it is not spreading and killing the plants. Yeah. So that's why I stay on top of that. And it's pretty simple. I'm going to take I have 20 some odd varieties out here. I forget how many plants, but that's Black Beauty right there. And you can see the purple shoulders on it. This is one of the best tomatoes to eat and to grow, honestly, because it's so damn beautiful. But if you don't let it if the fruit doesn't get sun on it, it will stay green, which is a bummer. I mean, it'll still taste good. It'll still taste like a Black Beauty, which is a very rich, deep red flesh that is like that smoky tomato flavor more. These are Cherokee Carbon, along the same lines with the flavor. These are my absolute favorite tomatoes right here, between Black Beauty and Cherokee Carbon, absolute favorites. But you know, the honey drops are my favorites right now because they're the first ones to come on. But tons of fruit here. These ones back here, I think, are the Wisconsin 55s, which I haven't tried before, so I'm excited to see those. These dahlias are doing great. That's Lavender Perfection. This is Lights Out. That's one that Lily is really looking forward to seeing. Let me see. Can you see that little spider in there? So there were a lot of spiders in my dahlias, which I was happy for. Oh, still a lot over here. Look, there's one. There's one. But these ones in the middle, now what I'm seeing on them, of just a few of them, I was out here yesterday and I noticed it just on like a couple, are ants, which to me means there's some sort of like sap sucking insect on these, but I'm not seeing any aphids or anything like that. Maybe, you know, maybe the size of you see there's an ant right there. And, ooh, he's stuck in a spider web. Oh, dang, it's a spider ant battle. The ants, what they do is when the aphids are on the plant, the aphids like suck the sugars out of the leaves, which is what can cause a lot of damage if you have, you know, too much aphid activity. And then the ants come and like the aphids secrete this honeydew or something it's called. And the ants come, ooh, that spider is winning. Sorry, we shouldn't be looking at that, although nature and its finest here. But the ants then they like suck the honeydew off of the aphids, and so they like farm them. They herd them up, and they'll be really protective of them, like a person would be of their herd of cattle or something, and they'll spread them around to different plants and stuff like that. Like if I come out and I spray neem just on one of these, the ants will take the aphids and move them to a plant that doesn't have that. So I have to do a double attack here, which is, even though I haven't seen the aphids, I am seeing the ants acting as though there is something. So they're like clustered up. The ants are clustered up on the stems and stuff like that. So you'll see like 5 or so ants in there, in the same spot on the stem. And that's like herding activity. So I'm going to spray everything with neem, all of the dahlias, because they're very, very close together. So it wouldn't be hard to move from one leaf of a plant to the other leaf of the plant. Right? So I'm going to spray everything under the leaves with the neem, because that's typically where the aphids live, is under the leaves. And then I'm going to put ant traps as well at the base of each plant here, just like in the bag, ant traps. So that keeps the ants from being able to protect the aphids and move them to other plants and things like that, because then they get poisoned and they die, which is a rough thing, but it is also just how I keep my plants from dying. So something's gonna die, and I would prefer that it not be my plants. This bed is all cherry tomatoes. This little area here is all cherry tomatoes. Tons and tons of tomatoes in here. Not quite ripening yet, but we're like on the cusp of having so many tomatoes that we don't know what to do with them. And as some might say, and I may have said too, that I planted too many tomatoes this year. Yeah, I think I did. These are the berries crazy. These things are nuts. Look at that. I've tried to grow these a couple years in a row now and haven't been successful. The plants haven't really thrived. But this year, I've got this one plant that has decided it will live and it will produce. This is crazy. I don't even know. I hope that we like them. That's all I have to say, because there's going to be a ton of them out here. These are pretty. What are these? Black cherry. Ooh, I'm interested to try those too. I haven't had those ones yet. So lots of what I did, the reason why I have so many tomatoes is because I went through, ooh, what are these ones? Those are interesting shape. Anyways, I went through my seeds and decided that I was going to plant at least one of every single type of tomato that I had ever purchased and still had seeds for, because I was a little bit irritated with myself that I had so many seeds that I had never planted. And that's exactly what I did. So there are quite a few tomatoes in here that I've never tried, but I'm interested in getting down to what I like for definitely like. So like I'll probably always grow a Black Beauty. I'll probably always grow a Cherokee Carbon. I will definitely always grow a Cherokee Carbon. I just bought 2 new seed packs from Botanical Gardens. I've been checking to see when they were going to come back in stock, and they finally did. Botanical Gardens has free shipping right now too, guys. Just no minimum, go for it. Their seeds are fantastic, and I buy the Cherokee Carbons from them. You don't get a ton. I think maybe 10 or something like that, but totally worth it. They're beautiful, delicious, wonderful tomatoes. But yeah, so this way I can kind of see, well, okay, I don't like this one. I can get rid of the seeds. I'm not going to grow it again, or that kind of thing. So I'm not growing however many plants I have in here and then trying to deal with tomatoes that I don't like, because there are some that I don't like. Definitely. But yeah, you can see here. So I also kind of felt like I wasn't going to grow a lot of tomatoes, but like I wasn't going to have volunteers and stuff like that for the year. This is a Rosella. This is one that I will also always grow. 1, because I like it, and 2, because it is Lily's absolute favorite all-time tomato ever. But then volunteer tomato right there. And am I going to pull it out? No. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to have way too many tomatoes this year. These are mostly sunflowers. This is not. These are pro cuts in here. Doing great. I did have them under one of those little pop-up tents to keep the bunnies off of them while they got big enough and their leaves got more kind of fuzzy and unpalatable for them. But yeah, those will be pro cuts that I'll have for later in the year for bouquets. This is the Tom Thumb lettuce I got from Baker's Creek. It's lovely. It's very, very nice. Actually, little heads of lettuce in here. Glad I did that. The zinnias are starting to put on color. So the Benary's Giants are starting first, of course. This was a mix, so I have no idea what colors they're going to be, but I'm definitely seeing the yellow or gold. I'm not sure what the exact color name is here. Ooh, and what are you? Making that weird hole in my zinnia. What kind of bug are you? Is that a cucumber beetle? No, I don't think so. Anyways, and this I think is salmon. But not surprised that those have come on first. It looks like Ballerina's going to throw some next, or maybe the Oklahomas are also kind of close. But the Ballerina ones, I grew, those are from Johnny's. All the zinnia seeds that I have are from Johnny's. I think that that's the best place to get zinnias from, honestly. These are the Oklahomas. Again, I just bought a mix. And I did pinch all of these once. Just so you guys know, I pinched each plant one time when they were about, you know, like 8 or so inches tall. But Johnny's has the best zinnia seeds that that I feel like you're gonna get the most consistent germination from, the best, healthiest plants. I've tried growing zinnias from lots of different places, and I mean, zinnias will grow. No doubt, but if you're growing something specifically for cutting and having bouquets and having pretty things indoors and not just outdoors, I recommend buying your flower seed, any flower seed, but definitely your zinnia flower seed from Johnny's. I know there are some like small farmers out there who are hybridizing and stuff like that. And charging outrageous amounts of money for zinnia seeds. I would say just wait till Johnny's picks them up or develops their own. So like the Ballerina is from Johnny's. It's one that they developed themselves. But I grew this last year and I found that the first few blooms were a little bit wonky. That's where my thought process was going. They were just a little bit wonky. And you can almost see even like on this one, it's not developing exactly as it should. If we look at the Oklahoma, there's just petals all around, where this one is definitely missing some petals on this side. But that was pretty common for me last year. Like the first 1 or 2 blooms that came out on each stem were a little bit wonky, still gorgeous. The color is a very soft pink. It's just beautiful, and they're big. They get really big flowers on them, like as big as the Benary's Giants. They're just gorgeous. Really full, fluffy flowers. These are linen. These are also a Johnny's hybridized variety. I haven't seen these yet. This is my first year growing those. I think this was the first year they were available. And then all of this down to here is Queen Lime, which you gotta have Queen Lime. If you are growing zinnias, you gotta have Queen Lime. They're the most beautiful flowers. They don't get as tall as the Benary's Giants, and they don't get as big of a bloom on them or anything like that, but the colors that occur in those flowers are unlike anything else that you're going to be growing in your garden, any other type of flower. They're just stunning in any of the color varieties that come in that queen lime, or queenie, I think they call it now, the queenie mix. They have orange, they have peach, they have red, they have green. They're just beautiful, and you're not going to find that flower color anywhere else on any other flower in the combinations that you get it on the queen limes. You're just not. Now this dahlia, I think, has a virus, which makes me sad, but I'm also glad that I'm growing in the grow bags this year so that it's not going to get passed on to other dahlias. This is Crazy Love, and the tuber came from Menards. So I have no idea where, you know, that farm is that they get those tubers from or anything like that. But I don't think that the farmers can really have too much control over it anyways. I read somewhere or listened to a podcast or something somewhere that said that like most dahlias have some sort of virus, and stress, you might not know it because they might not ever express the virus. The virus might not ever have a chance to really become something, but stress can then, you know, weaken the plant and make it so the virus can make its move. And these got really burned hard in that first, and I've actually taken a lot off here, but they got really burned hard in the first heat wave. So the other dahlias that I have up here did just fine through that, but I'm thinking that the combination of the heat and the virus existing, and also looks like maybe we're starting to get some sort of powdery mildew. I was going to let this plant go because I've never seen the Crazy Love flower before, and like the new growth seems to be fine, but then as things get even a little bit older, so I think I'm just gonna pull this, even though I don't feel like it'll spread to other plants. I just no point in limping it along. So unfortunately, that's one dahlia down, and I was looking forward to seeing that one for sure. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing them all, but yeah. And this is Star Child, tons of buds on here. They're really starting to unfurl and get ready to go. These are some of my favorite dahlias. They're just a single, like, star shaped flower, but they're super prolific. They're really, really gorgeous. These, I forget what kind of daylily these are, but they are, this is like a double bloom, which is not common. They're a rebloomer. So these will pretty much go the rest of the summer. Keep kind of throwing up stalks and putting flowers on. Yeah, those are really, really pretty. And then the peppers. Oh, let's look at the leeks. The leeks in this bed are going for it. They are nice and big. They look great. These will stay in until the end of the year. I'll pull them before, either right before the first frost or right after the first frost. But these ones are not. These ones are just a little bit sadder. Now, these ones definitely got beaten up harder by the bunnies. So there's that. But also, these sunflowers just shade them out quite a bit. So hopefully, I've trimmed up the sunflowers. Hopefully they'll start to catch up here. The peppers look great. The lemon drops are just starting to have flowers open. I have no concerns that I won't get enough lemon drops. There will be plenty. You can see all the little buds all over the place in here. There'll be tons. And then these are the hatch chilies. I need to ask my dad when, like, at what size do you pull these? Because I have a few and I'd like to try them, but I'm not sure when to, like, how big they get. And he's the expert on those. Green beans, slow start, but the ones that I restarted are coming along, so we should have green beans soon. Okay, so that's everything for today. Lots of getting ready for the produce to come on, and well, the zucchinis have already been coming on for a few weeks now, so I've been dealing with those, but and I need to start like making zucchini bread or something. But you know, the tomatoes will be here soon. That's going to be chaos. There's going to be so many tomatoes. And then the flowers will be here very, very soon too, and I'll be in full bouquet. I actually did cut a bouquet this morning of stock and just a few bits and pieces from around the garden, but you know, I'm not having like a new bouquet or 3 or 4 bouquets throughout the house every week at this point, but I will be, and I'm ready for that. I'm so excited for it. So yeah, that's everything this week. I hope that things are going well for you. I hope that your gardens are beautiful and that you're enjoying them as much as you possibly can. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.